Okay, not sure what the heck just happened there. I don't know why that screwed up. All right, we'll go ahead and start off that. Just ignore that technical glitch. Guys, it is official. It has just happened. Liam Cohen is the next head coach of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh my gosh, man. Like, I can't believe it. This has been a roller coaster of the last 2 days, going from being declined by who to me was probably the last top head coach candidate that I had out there, aside from Aaron Glenn, who was going to the Jets, thinking it's over. Trent Baalke gets fired. Shad Khan brings in Tony Baselli to help him. They get Liam Cohen in Jacksonville today, talking to him down at the Miller Electric Center just down the road, and he's like, he's lying to Tampa Bay the whole day. The one time he messaged him, he actually ignored them most of the day. Tells them, oh yeah, I'm with my kid. He's sick. Bull crap. He's in Jacksonville signing a deal or working on a deal to be the next head coach of this team. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe this is happening, but we got it, guys. We got it. But let's read let's read some of the comments here. So yeah, Jax, he is head coach. It is technically not official, but it is basically official. What has been reported, we'll just read this again, make it very clear. They're in active negotiations unless something unexpected happens, which it's not. Tampa Bay is not going to want him at this point. They are done with Liam Cohen, with how this whole process has gone. He is going to be the next head coach in Jacksonville for this team. So that is going to happen, barring something insane. And if something happened, this would probably be the craziest craziest event we've ever seen. I don't know. Yeah, Padawan Price, Shad's biggest redemption arc. Tell me about it, dude. Oh my gosh. Like, if you're Shad Khan and you've heard people say they don't know if you want to win in Jacksonville, they don't know if you want to try to fix this damn thing, what you've done the last day and a half in Jacksonville has answered those questions. And it has shown that whether or not this works out, right? Because this could fail. It's always possible. You're taking a chance here. You want to win. You're going to make the moves you need to win. You learned, I think, learned a lesson from it. We'll see if he's learned everything from it. But you got your information. You learned what was wrong with Trent Baalke. You fired him. You should have known a long time ago. It is what it is. But you freaking ate that piece of humble pie, went back to Liam Cohen, got him in the building, and signed him. You're gonna sign him here soon. That's all you can do. And so I'm thrilled, man. I am so thrilled. With all the candidates out here, it was Ben Johnson or Liam Cohen. And I didn't feel like you could go wrong with either. Aside from, obviously, it is always possible that something can go wrong, right? It's always possible candidate's not what you think. But at the end of the day, if that happens, we can look at this and say he is taking a shot. He's getting his guy. He's going for someone who at least has the upside to be a great head coach for a long time, the young offensive guy that you ideally want to bring in. So I love it. But let's get into some of these other comments here. Yeah, all this time he was just cooking up a masterclass. Yeah, apparently. This dude, the redemption arc is incredible. And we'll see what happens, right? But this is the guy I wanted after Ben Johnson went. You know, I'm thrilled, for sure. See, well, he's not the head coach yet, but highly likely. Yeah, it's going to happen. Would not be worried about it right now. Sorry if you're going to mention it, Jacob, but SpyTech hasn't signed the contract for Las Vegas. Yeah, so that's the other side of this. I don't know if that would happen, but people have been talking about it because, look, thing is, with SpyTech, he has not signed, just like Liam Cohen had signed. I don't think it's the same type of situation, of course, because it's the same job, right? He would be passing on a GM job for a different GM job, but it probably is the GM job he preferred. So maybe something happens there. I don't know if that's the case, but at the end of the day, like, it is possible. that Spytech could be here. But the name I really like that would be logical, and they'll get a lot of interviews in, Ray Agnew, I think would be a phenomenal candidate. Someone who's been credited for a lot of the offensive line and defensive line rebuild in Detroit. Their additions there. That is what this team needs. That's where they need to be strong. That's where they need to add. They need to be physically dominant. If you bring in someone like that, that's going to do a lot of work for you. Let's see. Yeah, I'm about to explode of happiness. I'd have to agree with you, Jags. 100%. And once again, guys, that you can read this. That's where things stand. This is as official as it gets without literally seeing the paper sign. Here's the thing. There's no going back. Liam Cohen can't back out of this deal. He is going to be done in Tampa if he were to even consider it. And it's just not on the table. Like, I just make that as clear as I can. Like, if this somehow didn't happen, it would be the biggest shock of all time. But it's going to happen. So, it's actively happening right now down at the Miller Electric Center. It says, Teal City Sport... Or, sorry, we'll start with this. Is this new guy good? That's from Jose Escobar. Sorry for my coughing. And sorry if I mispronounced that. Yeah, I do think he's a very good candidate. Obviously, if I didn't feel that way, we would not be celebrating right now. But, you know, he's done a lot in Tampa Bay. I think the big things you credit him for is the play calling. He's been phenomenal in that regard. He's someone who has done work for that run game, work for that offensive line, areas that Tampa was weak. You look at where Tampa was entering the season, where Jacksonville is right now, some of those weaknesses align. And that's good because you want a guy in who's going to be able to mitigate that. That's what's good about Liam Cohen. So, let's see. Don't believe it till pen hits paper. Ask Bucs fans about agreements. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm just saying, like, we're at the point. I got to record this. Like, this is happening. If he went back on this, his football career would be over. Let's be real. Like, if he backed out of the deal with Jacksonville, he's getting fired by Tampa Bay because he lied to them about meeting with the Jaguars. So, you know, think what you want about that because that is kind of sad. Or not sad. What's the word? Dirty? We'll call it dirty. But that's a Bucs problem, I guess. See, I mean, where else can he go at this point? Yeah, Tampa Bay is already looking for a new, that would be OC they'd be looking for. That's exactly the point. Like, there's no options left for him right now. Like, any leverage he would have had over Jacksonville is gone at this point, if they're even talking about that. But I don't think they are at this point. I think they'll just get a deal done. The whole situation is out of desperation and a disaster waiting to happen, says Jay. I think it is desperation. I don't disagree with that, but there was a process to get here, right? Jacksonville had essentially decided on Liam Cohen already. Everything was pointing to that. So it's a very different situation there. I don't think this is a matter of them just like randomly choosing and deciding, oh, let's just choose Cohen. Like, they had that as their top candidate. They went through the process, and it's desperation because they figured out they might lose him. So it is a little bit different. Storm the Desert says, Cohen isn't ghosting the Bucs with that offer on the table if he didn't plan on not taking the Jaguars head coaching. Yeah, he's very clearly committed to taking this job at this point. Zach C says, let's go, guys. Duval. Yeah, Duval, man. I can't say it louder or better because I'm at a hotel right now, but I would be shouting right now if I wasn't. I'll tell you that. I'm thrilled. Jags21 says, I feel bad for Bucs fans, but let's be freaking real. Not a single one of us give a damn. Let's have our moments, Bucs fans. Yeah. I feel the same way. I do feel bad for them, but at the end of the day, like, this is Jacksonville's fault that this process went the way it did. But I'm thrilled because they at least are trying to fix this, right? They're trying to fix the mistakes that they made in losing out on the candidate they wanted, and they got him now, right? And this whole thing is saved at this point. Now, I will say one thing: you might lose out on the GM you would have, because I do think John Spytek would have been the guy. We do not know right now for sure that he could even come here or would come here. That's completely up in the air. It's as unlikely as this seemed earlier today, and we don't know if it's going to happen. I would bet against it right now, to be honest. Yeah, look, Robert says, look at the stats, top 5 in passing, running, and points and yards. Yeah, they were phenomenal this year. They did a lot on that offense. And the thing as well, they did a lot with injuries. They lost key players. They lost Mike Evans for like a month. Chris Godwin out for the season, like halfway through the year. And they still succeeded. They had, rookie Jalen McMillan, who was playing really well at the end of the season. Guys that they're elevating. You have picks that are after the second round. They're playing really well on this team. Bucky Irving as well. Graham Barton, the first round pick, playing well for them. Like, these are things I think you have to consider. And this is someone I think, you talk about maximizing what you have on this team, you're getting that in Liam Cohen. And the only question is really going to be leadership, right? And I don't think that's like a weakness for him, but it's just, we don't really talk about that a whole lot. What's he going to be? And there's some clips out there that might get you fired up, but we got to see what it's going to be at the NFL level. Let's see. Yeah, the Texans are not having him as their OC. Not happening. Aiden says, let's go. Now let's get Graham in and get a GM in. Yeah. Graham would be good for defense. I don't know if he'd be sticking around with the Raiders. I'm not sure if that's even on the table. It kind of seems like our situation where the people who were here before still have their jobs for the moment, but they're going to lose them if they're not retained, and most of them won't be, right? Like Ryan Nielsen and Press Taylor aren't going to stick around. So, yeah, I think maybe we could get Graham, but it kind of depends on what the Raiders do because they're kind of taking that same route, and they only allowed us to interview because it was head coach. Yes, like if you're talking about the Duval, I cannot do that right now. I want to have this hotel until I leave town. That would suck otherwise. Yeah, the Tampa interior O-line is not that great. They did add Graham Barton, like I said, someone I liked in the draft, but that is not an incredible offensive line. They did a lot with it. They had a phenomenal rusher and did a lot in the receiving game, too, to be fair. Rusty Cow says, let's go. We up. Yeah. I'm thrilled. I can't believe we're actually talking about this. When I recorded the video yesterday about, like, this team needs to go back after Liam Cohen, I didn't know if they'd be able to. And then it was the talk of, they'll try to. They'll probably talk to him. And then we didn't hear anything. And it's suspicious. And then it all blows up tonight. So, it's exciting. Jay says, my thing is Baker's OC Canales got hired as a head coach last year, too. Baker's been good 2 seasons in a row. I think what Coen did with the the Bucs was much better than what Canales did, personally. I just think that the offense was better. I think he is a better candidate than Canales. I think Canales has done well with the Panthers so far. He's gotten Bryce Young on track, even if, whether he thought he should have been benched or not, or even started the year. But, I mean, that is working out there, so I don't know. I think Cohen's a better candidate, and that's going good for the Panthers, so I feel good about this. Having a GM and head coach on the same page is a big step in the right direction. Balky would go off and do his own thing and didn't really care what others had to say, then point fingers went down. Exactly. That's the big problem that we had and why Liam Cohen didn't take this job originally. Because it's a death sentence for his career, and I commended him yesterday for not taking this job. It was the right decision for him. And good for him that this ends up working out in his favor, and now he's going to be able to get someone who's going to work with him. These people need to be bound to the hip, tied together, all in with each other, right? Can't be the backstabbing, can't be the self-preservation bullcrap. That's got to end. We've had that for too long with Trent Baalke. So I completely agree. I think it's going to be a much better approach the way they're doing things. As far as the top 5 pick, Jags, I guess some people would say Tetairoa McMillan now, which I'd be fine with that. He is kind of a Mike Evans clone, the way he plays. They might want to bring that in, but you've also got your deep threat receiver in Brian Thomas Jr. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of options for where they could go, but I think Tetero McMillan would be the easy choice to say. And yeah, Robert, he's not signed officially, but it's hard to do this twice, I guess would be my point. And there's more incentive for Coen to have done it because he wanted this job originally, and it's a promotion compared to Spytek, who would just be taking the same job but in a different place. He would have a better situation, but I don't know. I think it's questionable, but I would love it. That's the guy I would want. If they can get Spytek off the Raiders, yeah, they'll be pissed at us, but that's what I want to happen. Rude Dog says there hasn't been anything signed yet, has there? Maybe that's changed since we started the stream, but I don't believe anything has been officially signed. Essentially, the situation is that they are negotiating the contract. Like, they've agreed this is what's going to happen. It's just a matter of negotiating the contract, which that's not a problem. See if anything's happened here. Might have. Nope. Don't have anything from like Ian Rappaport aside from just what we got from Jordan Schultz here. So if something does come out from someone else, let me know in the comments. I'll go swap over to it. Sleek says I want Mason Graham at 5. Yeah, that would be I'd be fine with that. He's not my top guy there, but he might be. I think he's like number 5 on my board, so it's possible other players go before. We've got see what else here. Sleek says, I feel you, man. Raiders fans are already thinking Spytek's leaving to join Coen. Yeah, they probably should feel that way until that's signed. Nothing was announced today. Why is that? Just saw how that played out. So it is possible. It really is. It's just, it's hard to predict it, right? Hampstead, it is about as sure as I can get without being sure. I wouldn't worry about it. It's going to happen. If it doesn't, it will be the biggest shock of the season by miles. It won't compare to anything else. It'll be more shocking than the fact that he came to the building secretly today. By the way, guys, we just hit 100 plus concurrent viewers. So thank you all so much. That is insane to see. There's a lot of people in here, but for good reason, right? Yeah, not Will Johnson. I think Will Johnson makes a lot of sense for this team. He could just be the easy pick, but if I had to say Liam Cohen specific, then you think about Mike Evans, Tetero McMillan, the comparison, and you need a wide receiver on the outside. So, I mean, I think that makes sense, but I'd be completely fine with Will Johnson. I think that would be great. Mike says, I haven't looked into this draft class too deep. Haven't dug into it. I do, I don't know if it's in the description of this video. It is, actually. No, that's the 2024 draft board. Here, I'll really quick share the updated one. This is available to everyone for free. Don't gotta pay anything for it. But I have my draft board available publicly, so you guys can check that out. If you want to click that, this is updated now. So you'll probably have to reload the page, and it should say 2025 NFL Draft Board below. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, KK says nothing signed yet. Might take time. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens, though, sometimes when the stuff gets reported. Like, it's not completely official. Like, we saw Liam Cohen's completely out of the race the other day. He wasn't going to sign until a day later. This, I think, probably gets signed tonight. And Pat, I guess I answered the one question here from 197 Gaming. Padawan Price says, next order of business, bring back the throwbacks. Yeah, that would be awesome to do. Hopefully they do something like that. I hope we get new uniforms. That would be great to see. Jags21 says, when did Khan become the master poacher? Apparently yesterday. Or today, I guess. But man, he is a completely different person so far. He should be a little proud about some of what he's done. He needs to take blame for the Trent Baalke situation, of course, when he eventually has his interview. But I think the pivot's been phenomenal. This is a masterclass as far as what they've done since they fired Baalke. Everything's been handled, well, the best that the Jaguars can handle it. from that point on. So Graham or Saleh for DC. So Graham, we don't know if the Raiders would keep him, but Saleh is going to the 49ers. He was only here for the head coach job. So that's out of the window. Storm the Desert says, oh yeah, hold up. Jax 21. Everyone sub so you can hit 1K. Yeah, that would be appreciated. We are actually getting really close. This week has helped immensely. Next week will be good too because we'll have the Senior Bowl. But yeah, there's been a lot of people subscribing just because of how much hecticness has been happening the last few days. So it'd be much appreciated, but you guys do what you want. Storm the Desert says Coen took a similar path through the McVay tree as O'Connell did when he was with the Rams. Yeah, and the whole thing with him like bouncing around with teams, a lot of that's justified why he made these moves. If you're looking into it, like he left the Rams originally because he wasn't able to call plays. And he wanted to be able to do that because eventually you want to be a head coach, right? So he goes back to Kentucky where he's able to call plays, gets the offer in Tampa Bay, gets to call plays there. Now Jacksonville's calling for head coach. Jacksonville's at fault for this process being screwed up, right? Because they should have fired Balky when Liam Cohen was their top guy and he said, I will not work with him, or asked for his own guy. It should have just, you should have basically asked him, like, if he was here, would you not work with him? And then it would have been dealt with. At the time, we'd avoid all this. But, nah, we gotta have everything get crazy. But it worked out, right? Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, the step-by-step of the whole thing was brutal. It's brutal. If you're a Bucs fan, it's bad. And I'm kind of screwed here, guys. I'm going to Tampa on Saturday. I can't wear any Jaguars gear down there because I'm going to get assaulted by someone. Can't do it. Thankfully, I have not brought a ton down with me. I usually wear... I guess I'm down here for the Senior Bowl, so I have a lot of like college stuff, primarily like Gators gear and all that. See what else we got here. Jax says Balky and Khan is like that thing from the Lord of the Rings when the creepy snake guy hits off the king and the king becomes like insanely overpowered. Read that exactly as you wrote it. Yeah, it's confusing. This team is just wild. Hard to understand what the heck they're doing most of the time, but hey, it's working out right now. Yeah, turn on notifications if you guys want. We'll have a lot of stuff out this next week, especially next week with the Senior Bowl. Got Doorman Lake. Finally caught a live stream. Duval. Yeah, appreciate you being here, man. Glad you were able to get in here. It's a big night for the Jaguars. Another big night, because yesterday was crazy. It was like Liberation Day, right? They were talking about that for January 20th the other day, but honestly, it should probably be the 22nd after what happened with Trent Baalke. I think that's what I would do personally. See, the second news came out. Coen didn't want the job and Baalke was fired that afternoon. People should have known something was up. Exactly. And that's why I recorded on it. Because it's like, that's the first thing you do if you're the Jaguars, right? You don't stop your head coach search, but you need to go back to Coen and say, hey, would you reconsider? Like, we got rid of the big problem. Let's talk this out. Because we'd love to have you here. We want you to be involved in the process. Just let us talk this out. We got Kanemo24. Sorry, I just probably destroyed your name. I wish we were playing the Bucs this year. NFL changed the schedule. Yeah, I think it's like 2027 is when we play them next. It's a while. So hopefully they forget it by then. Yeah, they could get Press Taylor. That's smart. Also, I feel really bad for you that you have to have that license plate on tomorrow. Or maybe you like it. I mean, you're in your car, right? No one's going to do anything unless they want to wreck you, which I don't think would happen. See what else we have. Yeah, Press Taylor. We could get like a third out of him, can't we? We could trade him to the Bucs. They could use him. CBS Sports just posted a deal coming close to being done with the Jags and Coen 14 minutes ago. Definitely legit. Okay, yeah, let's try to find that here real quick. Let's see if maybe Ian Rappaport. No, that's nothing. It said CBS Sports. I'm sure I could find it if I... Gosh, I don't know. It might just pop up on my feed, honestly, when I reload this, but I'm not seeing it so far. But I mean, it's legit, guys. Not worried about this at all at this point. Maybe NFL on CBS? Yeah. Nope, that was not it. Okay. Get back to comments here. Aiden says, I'm a Lions fan, and this is in my feed due to the news. Good luck. I appreciate it. I hope you guys get some good people to replace everyone you lost. Kind of a brutal week for Lions fans, and I do feel bad. I was rooting for you guys, but I was also rooting for the Commanders because they deserve some success too. 137 people in here, guys. Holy crap. Really appreciate it. This is awesome. And we just literally got double what we got, last night? And that was the record, I think, for the most we've ever had at once. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Says, I'm from Jax, but I currently live in the St. Pete, Clearwater area, so a lot of Tampa Bay fans here. Don't think I could wear my Jags jersey around here for a while. Exactly. So, yeah, I get you. My family in Tampa that I'm visiting, apparently, well, I know they're big Bucs fans, so we're definitely going to talk about this, which will be fun. But I was saying the other day on Twitter, turns out they actually have met Shad Khan. I didn't know that. They're pretty successful in life, and I'm not too surprised, but yeah, apparently they've talked to him. So I was like, man, I need to find some way of getting them to beg him to fire Trent Baalke, but I don't have to do that anymore, right? It's done. But let's see. Heard that Tony Vaselli had a big input. Shad Khan looks completely different when he's giving advice from good football guys. Yeah, and that's probably a huge part of this. Probably a very huge part of it. 155 now. Holy, oh my gosh. That's just going to get bigger and bigger. But yeah, Tony Vaselli, he got in there and you immediately saw this happen, right? And we heard he liked Liam Cohen, so it's not surprising that they went all in. And that's what Shad Khan needs. He needs people in the building that know what they're talking about and give solid advice. It doesn't take the smartest person in the world to find someone who can do the job well, right? You just need to know something. And unfortunately for Shad Khan, he doesn't have a whole lot to work off of from his own personal knowledge. Let's see. Do you think this increases the pressure on Coen to succeed now? I think it's the same, honestly, if I'm going to be real. Yeah, it could get worse for Tampa. That's a good point. Storm. Yeah, T-Mac makes a lot of sense to draft. We were talking about that. Let's see what else we got on here. Hey, Nasir, nice to have you in here. Bringer of Rain says, start fresh now, start from the interior, fix the O-line, and work your way up. Yeah, that would be great. I think two things you can look at. One is if you want to spend. I think Trey Smith will be phenomenal. If you just want to draft Trey Smith, you can just take Tyler Booker and move up. One of the things that I'll probably suggest through the process, the Minnesota Vikings, where their pick is at 24, this is kind of crazy. We'll get off subject here for a second. So if you look at the trade value chart, so 24 is worth 740, 36 is 540. There's 200 points between them. The picks we got from Minnesota, so they got to make up 200 points. They're worth 150 and 48. So we could legit just come up to Minnesota and say, we'll give you your picks back, but we want your first round pick. We'll give you 36, and we'll move up, and we'll take him that way. That's an option, because I think Tyler Booker would be there. And by the way, the team might want him as the Texans. They pick a number 25. So you could really screw them over. That's something I think is really enticing. Let's see. Yeah, Liam Cohen moves the needle. Absolutely, Nasir. I think he's the best option they had outside of Ben Johnson. And some of the Ben Johnson stuff's kind of weird to me now. He's taking shots at people and the Packers, and just there's a lot of overhype, I think, or not overhype, but there's just the hype is getting crazy. I think you got to be a little careful about that, because sometimes players just expect it to happen then, and they don't put in the work. So, I mean, it's got to be earned, right? Like, we called this the greatest team ever this year, and then we went 4-13. So I guess that's maybe why I feel that way. Yeah, so Crown says Liam's left every team he's been with under 2 years. That's the fair point, but context is important, right? We did just say earlier, you look at when he left the Rams. He leaves there to go out and to be able to call plays with Kentucky, right? Going back there. He left for an NFL opportunity to be under Sean McVay. Who wouldn't do that, right? Sean McVay. So he goes to Kentucky after that to be able to call plays, and then he gets an opportunity to do it in the NFL. So he goes to Tampa, does so well, he gets a head coach opportunity. You want to blame anyone for the way this process went and him being in that situation to lie about the kid today and saying he's sick? That's Jacksonville's fault. At the same time, I don't think he should have lied about it. I think he should have just been honest. But it's a hard situation, to be fair. Let's see. Yeah, Bucks fans really be thinking us Jags fans did this whole thing to destroy their fan base. I get the frustration. I do. Like, it would suck. If we had a great coordinator and an older head coach that we're wanting to replace with that guy and then we lose him, it's like you just lost your future. Like, you could argue that does suck. I get it. But I'm happy, right? Internet user says he's a Jags and a Bucks fan. Yeah, you gotta be feeling very weird right now, very conflicted. Like different personalities or something going on there. Yeah, Coen is already the best coach of the Khan era. Got Balky fired and came back. Yeah, he's gonna need a statue at this point. Yeah, Bam Bam. Look, I know you're frustrated. I am sorry for what happened. I'm not gonna be mean here. I'm sorry, man. It sucks. That's all I'll say. Jordan Schultz reported negotiations entering the next phase. Okay. Let's see. For some reason. Okay, here we go. See if this is updated. I don't see anything new. It's the same thing, but maybe it's reported somewhere else. So yeah, same thing there. Okay, let's get back to comments. We'll wrap this up here in a little bit, guys. Yeah, is this hire confirmed? It's confirmed that they're going through the process and they both want to make this happen, but they're just working out details right now. Storm says, not sure if he can play guard, but Drew Dalman is an absolute mauler in the run game. He's young and would be cheaper than Trey Smith. Yeah, he could be an option. They might keep him, though, honestly. I would like to get young, if you can, or get like a big name, right? If I'm signing free agents that aren't like $2 million, $3 million, I would be looking at getting like the best of the best. So I think that's where the investment might be best. Instead of like, let's pay average half of what elite gets. That's where I have not enjoyed what Trent Baalke's done here. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I need Will Johnson in my veins. I'm a Michigan fan. Yeah, Brandon, that would be great for you. You lost out, unfortunately, on Aiden Hutchinson a couple of years ago. But, hey, Trent Baalke's gone. Now we'd actually consider Michigan players. So that is a change, for sure. I don't think this is clickbait, personally. I mean, this is just a report that he's getting hired for the job. So I don't feel bad about it. I mean, I do know... No offense to this guy, but I do know someone who said it was official like an hour before this, and I was like, that's a little early to do that because it was not official at that point. It was being talked about still, but it's happening at this point. I feel pretty confident in that. I'd be shocked if it didn't. It would, like I said, be the biggest surprise of the year, and it would probably end Liam Cohen's career if this didn't happen. Who's next in DC or GM? I wonder. I don't know if like how their DC search is gonna go. Like if he has someone lined up for the job. If I had my choice, personally, I like Jim Leonard from Denver. He's someone who's not talked about a whole ton, but I think he'd be a phenomenal candidate. He's been offered DC jobs before, had reasons he couldn't take them that were legitimate. Would have been the Broncos DC, but he's their defensive backs coach, and he kicked ass this year. That's who I would love to get. We got Carmados 13 says, I'm the Abdul Carter guy here. I'm also the Abdul Carter guy. I've not talked about that here, but that's who I would take if he was available. I just kind of question if he is at this point. He's such a good player. I mean, there's people talking about that's the blue chip player that the Titans are talking about when they say they won't pass on him. Now, I think it's Travis Hunter, who they're probably talking about, but those are both incredible players. So, James says, Bucks fan here, be careful with this guy. Hopefully he doesn't turn out to be a Mike McDaniel type and lose the locker room fast. He pulled the My Kids Are Sick card and take a secret interview today. The last part, like, I'm not going to sit here and defend that. Like, it's a situation where they told him, don't go take this interview. He did it for his best interests, his family's best interests. But I think you don't need to lie about it. Like, just say, hey, if this doesn't work out, our contract's off that we were going to renegotiate, but I'm still your OC, right? And leave it there, because you still had the job regardless. Lying was unnecessary. So I get that. As far as the other stuff, I'm not too worried about it. I think it's just something that, like, I have no concerns with his leadership. I haven't seen something that brings that into question that hasn't been talked about. It's just simply a matter of, well, he burnt a whole fan base. He burnt a whole team. Now people are mad, and so they're not going to trust him anymore. I get that. So it's fine to feel that way. Jaguar Man says, Titans are probably getting a quarterback. I don't know. The comments really don't point that way. Unless they think Cam Ward's a generational talent, or they don't think anyone is a generational talent. And I just think you look at what Travis Hunter is, and that's what he is, right? And a lot of it is he plays two ways, but he's a phenomenal player. Like, I think they're just going to take him, or they're going to trade out. Because for the Titans or Browns, like, I have a hard time imagining the Raiders would not just, like, offer them 2 firsts plus to go up and get the pick for Shedeur Sanders. Like, clearly he wants to go there. Clearly they want them. That would make a lot of sense to me. Gator John Bites says, would you see us trade back to get more draft capital? Is it possibly in the cards? What would you do? I think we could. It's a question of if someone wants to move up, though. There's a lot of concern about that this year because the class is not as strong in the first round, so a lot of teams want more picks. They want day 2 selections because there's so many players in that range. So it's more cost effective. So that's why, like, I mentioned the idea of moving up with the Vikings. It might be cheaper than even what I brought up because teams want to move back. And if you have a player who falls, who you love, which is going to happen almost any draft, then take advantage of it. Because I think it's going to be cheap to get up in this class. So would we be able to trade back? I hope so. But I highly doubt anyone would give us an offer for that unless it's like a quarterback is sitting there. I think people are going to feel pretty content with where they are in the top 10. We'll read a couple more comments and then we'll get off here. Content D says, I want Tony in football operations and Louis Riddick in the front office for the future. Yeah, I don't know if they'll bring in Louis Riddick. Maybe they'll give him an interview. I think Tony would be great for at least being in an advisor role. Like, that alone is why we just got the result we did. Because he's advising Shad Khan in the search, giving him suggestions. Like, that's good stuff. I don't know if I would want him to be an EVP, though. Like, that's more of a question. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. Let's see what we got. Suggesting trading Trayvon Walker. Sorry, it's not happening. I made it clear, I would have considered that before for the right price, but I don't think it's happening. If it did, though, it would be more than 2 seconds for Trayvon Walker. Mr. Dolphin says, what happened to your super chats? I don't know. They should be on. I can double check that. It might be something weird with AdSense. Yeah, something weird's going on with my revenue stuff. I think it's because I have to confirm something for my AdSense account. So I do appreciate it. I'm assuming you wanted to donate. I will be able to confirm that here soon, though. I just have to wait for something in the mail. But I probably can't have super chats till then because it does tell me when I look at it that they've been paused. So I'll definitely go figure that out. See what we got. Malachi Starks, Tyler Warren, Tyler Booker. Those would all be great players. I think Warren goes early. Starks could fall as a safety. Tyler Booker could fall as well. We're not trading those players. It's something to talk about, but it's not going to happen. I'd be shocked if it did. So with that said, guys, we are going to wrap this up here. I will at least look one more time here. See if anything else has been said. And yes, I am following this account. I do actually believe them at this point. Because they've gotten some things pretty right today. And we got Edilla. We'll check him out really quick. Yeah, nothing else really going on here. Just what we saw. It's a done deal, guys. I wouldn't be worrying about it. We'll probably hear more again tomorrow or like some official announcement at that point. Maybe later tonight, for all we know. I will answer this one last question, though. We got Gator John Bite says, do you think we move on from ETN? And who would you draft a running back? If so, there's a lot of depth at that position in the draft. So I think ETN is not someone you have to plan the team around. You could keep him and not address the position. He might be fine, but I just won't really worry about it at this point. Like, if he wants to go prove himself here and it changes your mind, great. But otherwise, like, I'm not too worried about him. How I would address it, I mean, you could always throw out Ashton Genty if you trade down. I don't know if I would do that, just considering the other options that might be on the table. But if I want to build this running back room around Tank Bigsby, like adding players that work really well with him, I think Travion Henderson makes a ton of sense. Probably get him at 65 or trade up from there. I guess they pick at 70 is where they're actually at. The other guy is Kyle Monangai. I'm a huge fan of him. I think he's going to be a really good running back. There's even some comps to Bucky Irving there. Don't think it's exactly the same, but that would make a ton of sense for Jacksonville. So those are two players I would look at. So yeah, and PFF's got Tyler Booker in the third. It's ridiculous. I won't worry about it. He's going to go much higher. And if he doesn't, people need to answer. There needs to be like a trial or something. The Dilla bomb just now? Hold up. Okay. It says Liam Cohen, head coach, Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah. I wouldn't worry about it, guys. I would not worry about it. This is a done deal. Good to go see. All right. Well, with that said, we'll wrap this up. I appreciate you guys being here. It was a good time. We've had what seemed to be catastrophic at first turn into a phenomenal 2 days where I've gone from being a pessimist to I'm actually going to be really optimistic about this team going forward. Like, it might be scary. You guys aren't used to that. But that's where we are right now. So it's exciting. But before we go, I do want to thank our channel members. Premier Seer 904, Mr. Dolphin, Scrubber Ducky 500, and Brian Foster. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. It was a fun one, and we'll see what happens from here. It's going to be exciting. We'll look into GMs, we'll look into all these other positions, and how this team's going to be built from there. But that's all I've got. So appreciate y'all being here. Have a great rest.